Welcome. Let's focus on the next edition of Down to Earth. And here, the very first topic talks about integrating politics and life. Now, this does not imply that we are integrating party politics, but the idea is adopting the social values specifically pertaining to inclusion, justice, and upholding the rights and duties of an individual are really important. So, this actually talks about the various commitments, the changes that come across the politics, the developmental frontiers, the issues related to climate change, world facing uncertainty, and the climate change as a great equalizer, where we are talking about reversal of climate actions in the industrialized nations, those who are well set nations and have global trade rules taking appropriate carbon budgets, and who actually dominate the geopolitics are taking in steps to bring and mediate the issues with the countries that are less developed. Now again, this talks about a new era, which is artificial intelligence and the transformation where we are seeing replacement of human capabilities, leading to job losses and creation of new kind of skills and new jobs that could be seen in future. So there are various reasons which we say are really important to monitor and would be important when we talk about inclusion, justice, and the real development on ground, right? So there have been various issues related to the same. The next is how we understand that there might be the last person on earth to whom the cold clouds brought the things, and this is a kind of idea which have been laid down in the works that have been focusing on the challenges of environment globally, the awareness for the environment globally, and the steps from the speakers which have been taken, which talks about the human experiences, the human emotions, and the literature behind those which have been penned related to environment. Now, as we have seen since the ancient time, nature and history have been a close associate in India. We have seen Ayurveda as a system evolving from the very basics. The Vedic poets talked about nature and the functions of nature. In Rig Veda, we have nearly 250 verses which talk about Indra, the god of rain, and there have been imaginative expansions, the relation between husband, wife, father and son, when we talk about heaven and earth, heaven and sun, and these kind of literary depictions have been well versed with the ancient authors. For example, Kalidas, Meghdutam, the cloud messenger, the Kumar Sambhav as another work, and similarly G.K. Bhatt talked about the description of Kalidas, which was not only inspired by nature, but there were other scholars like Bhavbhuti whose works were again inspired by nature. And there have been various focus on the natural aspects, making the work very integrate with the real world. So there have been emotions, sounds, the ideas of gentle breeze to the magnificent and the frightening storms, and so on and so forth. So all these depictions, specifically if we talk about Lord Ram wandering when Sita was abducted. Now in this there was an influence that has been seen in the Kalidas play, and these have been criticized. There have been stories where they have been talking about the role of the animals, the worldly creatures, and how they have helped in the movements and the reforms. Similarly, in Hindi literature we talk about the era of Chayavad. There has been Ekantavasi Yogi, whose themes have been talked about, expressing the Himalayan foothills, and then there have been waterfalls of Mirzapur which have been seen in the works of Ramchandra Shukla, and that was post Chayavad. Similarly, there have been poetry evocations from the north and the south. The ideas behind these poems have been mainly resources, the extraction of the resources, the displacement of the people. Sometimes ecofeminism have been seen. We have also seen activists like Dinesh Kumar Mishra, Shekhar Pathak focusing on the dams, the harmful impacts of the dam, promoting movements like Chipko movement and advocating those. Similarly, there have been poetry of the earth. Now Now, these contributions have been seen from Telugu poets, from Dhurjati, who has talked about the connection of nature and the devotion. So, forest being as divine has been another idea which has been expressed. There have been poets from South like Sriranga Srinivas Rao, who talked about the progressive poetry with nature, and similarly is the list of other poets and their works, their subsequent efforts to emphasize how important the nature is. Now the entire continent's history is being lost in some form or the other because the natural languages are getting extinct. There are numerous languages which are endangered. The emotional investments which lie with the social practices, the cultural practices, are now being depleted, and there has been emphasis on safeguarding the linguistic diversity. Even with modern technologies, we are trying to ensure that the regional languages are being maintained. The civilizations which are rooted in multilingualism are well maintained. Also, when we talk about the languages, we have seen that nearly 197 mature languages are on the brink of extinction, and with the new educational policy, we are trying to have few dominant languages, but there are again numerous languages which have been marginalized, and there have been drop in the number of usage. There are numerous languages which have been brought under the ambit of classical language and the recognition for same, but some of the languages do have their vibrant culture. For example, Avdi, Braj, Rajasthani, and there are languages which are spoken by less than 10,000 people, which government has not yet acknowledged even. Numerous culture has percolated even only through the oral literatures. The written traditions related to those languages are no more into existence, and therefore it is really important that these oral languages are maintained and well preserved across the generations, or represented in some forms of audiobooks, guidebooks, which could be a way for future developments and researchers, right? So as we have highlighted, there are nearly 800 Indian languages which have never been written but still have survived across years and have evolved, right? But UNESCO or Ethnologue framework are now being applied specifically to the languages which are endangered. The idea is to preserve those languages. The speakers have been given example of, let's say, Great Andamanese people who possess multiple words of different kinds of smell. So nearly there are 17 to 18 words which are related to smell, and this knowledge is now getting disappeared. Similarly, there are various zones of seashore which are explained in their local languages for sandy parts, wet parts, water at different depths. There are nearly 97 words for different kinds of birds which a local boy would speak. Similarly, there are different varieties of rice. For example, in Koratpur, Odisha, there are nearly 1800 rice varieties which existed before Green Revolution, but now there are only 3 or 4 species or varieties that remain. So when we are losing the words, when we are losing the vocabulary, we are losing that on ground as well, and promoting them, protecting them is an integral part of our folk literature. So folk literature is not just related to the folk, the culture, but also related to the various practices associated to it. For example, a farmer would use nearly 250 different words with relation to agriculture. Farming, which became which started nearly 10,000 years ago, where people settled along the rivers, the wells, iron was discovered, and then there was sustainable communities, settled life structure which was seen, and then there was plowing tools during the Ashad and the Savan, which have been used for better variety of yielding of the crops, have been discovered. There are other species and space patternings which have been identified historically. For example, pulses, ambri or sesame have been grown along with them, and maintaining the ecological balance through seasonal restrictions like waiting till the period of Dashera to eat khat or to harvest the amla. Those kind of restrictions actually are useful for the fertility of the soil. There are numerous ghazals which have been written. One of these have been mentioned here, and these ghazals and works have actually been the part of ideas which say that there has been literary works which have been related to conservation, natural protection, and there have been adventurous novels as well. For example, novel talks about the Kaziranga Trail, which was published in 1979, and it talks about Indian child character and the works of conservation as one of the central theme. There are numerous such novels which focus on stopping the poaching of animals, conserving the wildlife, and maintaining the success in the same field. Now, language has, as we said, one of the key ideas. For example, in the Odia poetry, we have seen authors focusing on human suffering, the devastations caused by nature, and the writings have been very, very disconnected from the reality. There has been alienation from the modernism, and they have also ignored the lived experiences that have been seen by the local people, local community, and there has been a kind of government exploitation of the natural resources in certain areas, which we have seen. Certain communities have emerged prominently, and therefore there has been a close contact between, as we started with the beginning, the politics and the real world, right? So people's voice must gain strength, get broader recognition. There have been writers who have focused on how to understand the sounds of the birds, but to do so, what is important is the warplanes and the airplanes must remain silent, right? Now, these are the kind of works which have been given by indigenous communities. Even in the regions of Palestine, they have talked about olives, figs, orange orchids. So those are some of the ideas which narrate the importance of highlighting the real beauty of the world without confronting and making the tanks, the war spaces silent, right? So green colonial narrative is one of the basic ideas which is now intertwined with making the desert blooms, and there have been establishment of funds. For example, Jewish National Fund in 1901, where they talked about afforestation efforts in non-native coniferous trees. Similarly, there have been pine trees as proxy immigrants, symbolizing the Jewish people in Israel nation. And these kind of studies have been seen not only in one nation but across the globe. These actually help us understand how important it is to combat the climate crisis, understand the various focuses which relate to deforestation, pollution, climate activism, and promoting indigenous knowledge in the local areas. Colonial conservation models are again important. We have seen that the literature has remained fixed on familiar themes over the years, but in the recent 4 decades, we have seen realism has prevailed, where real issues, for example, poverty, women issues, social movement, history, mythology, have come to force. There are numerous works which have been written related to those in the age group of 18 to 30 years. We have seen youth writers which are now thinking more scientifically, connecting languages with real sensibility, and creating real capture with the real world, right? So for example, if we talk about in India, Munshi Premchand's stories, which were really realistic, rooted into the rural colonial India, and focused on the issues which were social, for example, discrimination, poverty, the struggle of farmers, the widowed women, and so on, which was very, very prevalent during that time. And these works actually promoted empathy, compassion, and perseverance during that time. Premchand's work have even been referred under the PM Ujjwala Yojana as Idgah, and there have been efforts for bringing in such things even in the technology driven world, right? So there have been documentaries like My Octopus Teacher, which has been praised for the beautiful portrayal of the nature and shifting the attention away from human. There have been environmental issues like Chernobyl disaster, which have been frequently portrayed across the world cinemas for destruction. The works of the Indian films have been related to ecofeminism. For example, Sherni, Bhumika are some of those. And then there have been natural epics. For example, the interconnection between language and nature is described as a umbilical cord relationship. There have been Tamil poets, Thola PM and Sila Padikaram have been some of the ones who have been showing reference of environmental awareness for ecological zones, sacred trees and water conservation. There have been depiction by the various poets on the same issues, and the whole edition, as we could say, actually mainly focuses on the idea of how important the environment is. Historically, we have literatures which talk about it, and making environment the priority would come when the world is free of terror and there are free spaces where the sounds of the birds could be heard rather than the sounds of the aeroplanes and the warplanes, right? So that is how this issue works on. So we have discussed the key things. Language and the extinction of language has been one of the major ideas which have been discussed. So stay tuned for further updates from our side. Wish you all the best, and of course we would be starting with a series of mains preparation for your UPSC answer writing. So stay tuned across all the subjects. PYQs have been uploaded on Doorstep Tutor, so you can refer that for more information. Thanks for joining in. Have a great day ahead.